Hello and welcome to another installment of our program Healthy Generation here at KCOS. We're so happy that you could join us today for a conversation about health issues. This is a program during which we talk about the important health issues in our community, and of course there are many institutions and entities right here in El Paso that are involved in various health issues. One of the most important, in my opinion, is the YMCA. Most of you have heard the name YMCA. It's an acronym for Young Men's Christians Association. Is that correct? And we are very happy to have on our program today two members of that organization here in El Paso. First of all, we have Mr. James Lemaster, who is the chairman of the board of the El Paso YMCA. And also with us is Kevin Pearson, who is the president and CEO of the El Paso YMCA. Welcome both of you to the program, and we're so happy you could join us. But you know, everybody knows what the Y is all about, mostly. You know, it's been around forever. Kevin, let me start off with you by asking you if you can just give us a brief history of the Y. It's been here for a long time, and many people are familiar with it, and maybe you can just kind of take us back to give us an understanding of when it started and how long it's been around.
That's a long way back.
It is, it is.
Of course, the Y started in London, England in 1849 and eventually made it to El Paso in 1886. El Paso is older than the Houston YMCA, in fact. It came into town with the advent of the railroad.
Well, if it started at that time, it started almost at the same time that El Paso started.
It really was. And it was a group of 19 men got together and said, this community needs a YMCA. At the time, of course, the saloons and the brothels, and the YMCA was brought in to provide an alternative to the attractiveness of vice, and as a way to build young men into leaders of tomorrow.
Right. Not necessarily in the minds of a lot of people as a Christian organization, but it focused a lot, along with Christianity, on health issues as well. Health matters, right?
You know, the idea of those Christian values put into practice, those concepts of caring, responsibility, respect, honesty, and faith, those were all integral pieces to all of the YMCA programs, even at the very beginning. And you know, looking at that idea of health as being a healthy spirit, mind, and body working in concert to make a whole human being.
Right. So it's something that people take to heart, because it is based on some very strong and important values that every human being, of course, comes with when he's born.
Right.
And so it's very important. And this organization has focused in on those values. What has been the history here in El Paso regarding young men, or people just in general?
Sure.
Say within the last since you and I have been alive, it's grown, hasn't it?
It has, and of course, you know, the Y has to remain relevant by changing its programs, by changing its operations in order to meet the needs of today's community, in order to be contemporary with what's happening in the world. So where 125 years ago it was Bible study, now we're using youth sports. Now we're using swimming, day camp, and other sorts of activities in order to promote those values with children in a way that they don't see that they're being promoted.
Right. At the same time, though, older folks
absolutely
take full advantage of the various programs that the Y has to offer, and always have. Let me switch over to James very quickly. You know, the Y relies on the help of the community in order for it to exist. How is the funding set up? How do you operate? How do you generate revenues to continue operating?
Well, it's multifaceted. We have a couple sources of revenue. Obviously, contributions are a big part, and that funds most of our financial assistance and scholarship, but we also have ongoing operations. The business model, we have memberships, we have programs, we have some other programs that we outsource, working with county pools, working with some of the other entities to provide different things, after-school daycare, PE for homeschool people, homeschooled kids. And also do a lot through the grant process. We apply for as many grants as we can and are given that. So a lot of our programs are grant-based. We still probably supplement them a little bit in some way or another, but it is, there's a lot of different moving pieces in that budget. So
It's important though, because of all the goodness that the Y contributes to the community. It's important that people support it, right?
absolutely.
Tell us a little bit about some of the most important things that the Y does in the community. Why people should invest in it.
What our main contribution use that comes out of the contributions that people give us is in our Strong Kids campaign. That's a sustaining campaign to sustain our financial assistance. And in El Paso, we found, and otherwise also, we have a mission that no one will get turned away for a lack of the ability to pay. So that it ends up being a pretty healthy sum when you look at all the programs that we supplement. Memberships, if somebody can't afford it, that's where that goes. And so that direct ask campaign that we have as a sustaining campaign goes directly for that. It's very important that we get that money, but it certainly doesn't get even halfway to what we actually spend. So our operations actually supplement that a little bit, but we need a lot of support. And we're lucky in this town to have some major benefactors in some of our
Yeah, I was going to ask you.
Ys.
That was going to be my next question. How well does El Paso support its Y?
Oh, I think it's fantastic. We do have some people that have given a tremendous amount and really have become engaged. And it's really those people have all been involved with the Y for a long time. They come and see, they get engaged, they see what the programs are doing. Some of our main benefactors have grandkids in some of the programs now and are there and just didn't love it and have gotten more engaged over the years. And so that's been a big deal. It really, we depend on it, and as the KCOS knows, it's not an easy thing to go out and ask for money.
Yeah.
It's not to generate those contributions, but we work hard to do it.
Well, this program is all about talking about health matters. As our sign says behind us here. Tell us a little bit more about the focus on health in El Paso. What is it that people can do when they take part in the Y?
Well, and again, the YMCA's approach to health is not just one of, are you working out and are you losing weight? Yeah. Look, a guy could work out every day, have wonderful cholesterol and blood pressure, and not talk to his children is not healthy.
Yeah.
And so our approach is one of a holistic approach to health. That concept of spirit, mind, and body working together to make a whole person. So health is, there's that physical side of health, that body side of health, which is what's your quality of life? Are you able to move around? Are you able to do the things that make you happy? And are you physically able in order to accomplish those tasks? The spiritual side, how do you feel about yourself, and do you have a sense of purpose in life? And providing people an opportunity to volunteer at the Y helps to fulfill that spiritual need. And then finally the mind. What are you learning? Life is an ongoing process of learning. And so how can we continue to give people a way both to teach and to learn as they go through from the 6-month-old all the way to the 85-year-old.
But I guess the question that I'm trying to get at is how do you do this when people become participants in the Y? Do you put them through a course, or do they just allow them to come in? You talk to them.
We try.
Are there programs specifically for these kinds of values and things you're talking about?
Well, we listen first.
Yeah.
Why do you want to join the Y? And for a lot of folks, their first entree into the Y is that idea of, I want to work out. I want to lose 20
I'm too
pounds.
fat,
Yeah, we get folks that come in for that very singular purpose,
right.
And we talk to them and find out what else what else makes up that individual, and what else can we do to help promote those other aspects of health. It may be an aerobics class, doing a mitten tree to get gifts for senior citizens, and that's a little piece of giving back and introducing people to that idea of, what, giving feels good.
Yeah.
And I'm a part of a larger piece of this community, not just me in the silo working out.
Yeah. And how do people respond, to that whole concept? Is it something that they accept right off the bat, and use it to their personal advantage? Yeah.
Sometimes it takes a while, and some people get it right off the bat. But it's why we've been around as long as we have. Yeah. It's why people give back to the YMCA, because there's something more than just losing weight.
Right. It's a kind of a comfort thing as well for them to. But one of the things we talked earlier about is the fact that you're not seen as a church necessarily. I
Right.
mean, you know, people don't come in or don't come to the Y necessarily because they want to have a place to worship or anything like that.
Correct.
It's a more encompassing than that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So back to you, James. I want a couple of questions about the relationship between El Paso and all the other YMCA's all around the country. The Y here is established here in El Paso.
Right.
It's been here for a long, long time, but
Sure.
it does have relationships, does it not, with all the other Ys around the
Right,
country?
and with a lot of other organizations here in town. Now we are part of YUSA, so we are part of the big the mother organization, but we're 100% local as well. All of our revenues, expenses, and everything that goes along with running a not-for-profit business is here.
Do
Money that we
you
generate.
get financial support from the larger umbrella?
Not at sometimes, yeah. At some points, yes, but we also pay membership dues and put our money in there. There are more effort with collaboratives that we're working with within the state alliance, in the YUSA.
What benefits are derived from that membership?
The collaborative.
Yeah.
Well, I think one of the things that Kevin is integral on our state level is on how we go about selling ourselves or advertising ourselves.
The
and
branding
advertising.
part of it.
Exactly.
Right.
So we have a YUSA brand, which by the way is new, and you'll see the big Y and new stuff that's coming out. There's a lot that goes with that beyond that. The principles that we're gonna continue to espouse, some of the things that we need to work on a little bit more. A lot of the legal issues, what we need to look out for. There's a lot of moving parts that are going on.
But you can truly say that you are a local organization.
Absolutely,
by
and
every
especially
definition
in the
of word.
contribution and the input side of it, that all stays here.
Right, right.
And so it's a local effort with a little bit of help and a little bit of membership, and just like you'd have any association. You could be a law firm and be a part of a state association. It's the same kind of thing.
Right.
Now we have a lot of history with our mother association, but we're not directed by them. Although, if there were issues that they didn't that we were losing our way away from the principles that guide us, then we could lose our charter, if you will. Is it a charter? No.
Say I happen to have just landed here from Mars and didn't know anything about anything. How would I go about becoming a member of the Y? What are the steps? Can I just walk in the front door and say,
Absolutely.
I'm here,
And it's our job to make it a very friendly environment right from the get-go. Really, a very nice storefront to get you in there. We have people that'll help you right off the bat. And like I said, no one gets turned away for the lack of ability to pay. So we have a system that looks at that.
No high pressure sales tactics.
No,
nothing like that.
and like we said, it's not about a membership. It's about how can we add to the community.
Right.
And the more people we have coming to our congregation, without not using a church word, but that's the whole point. Is it's a community, and and we want to welcome people in, not sell them something.
And invariably, what has happened over the long history of the Y is that you've had people who have derived so much from it personally that they themselves give back. And you have a large cadre of people who are in that
Sure.
category, aren't they?
I mean, we have folks that, we've got the big name folks. The Fred and Maria Loya. We have a facility over on Treywood that's named for the Fred and Maria Loya Family YMCA. Fred's not just a guy that gave money to the Y. Fred's a guy that participated as a member and a branch board member and a metro board member, served on the national board, served on the international committee of the YMCA. If you go into the branch, you'll see photos of Fred and Maria at YMCA's all across the world.
Wow.
There's a good chance you'll see them there.
Yeah.
Holding court and working out and doing,
So
being engaged.
that's a good example of the kind of impact and how much the Y has been accepted and valued by so many people, not just in our community but around the world. And he's not the only. Mr. Loy isn't the only one who is at this level where he's contributed there
had
are
a
others.
facility. Well,
you have another facility in town.
The Bowling Family YMCA is in that same boat, and I think a great story, and this goes back to when Bob Bowling had approached me about the possibility of naming that branch, and And I went and I met with Fred and Maria because it's kind of an exclusive club. They were the only ones that had a branch named for them. And I said, you know, we talked about what it would take. And Fred said to me at the end of our conversation, he said, you know, Kevin, he goes, charity is giving money to a good cause. Philanthropy is believing in it so much you're willing to put your name behind it.
Right, and working strongly in favor of its success.
Right, and working in conjunction with, in collaboration with.
Right. How difficult is it to maintain the level of support and donations in a community when sometimes the economy isn't so great? You know, do you all go through the same kinds of struggles that all organizations of this type go through, Steve?
Absolutely. I think you know.
Sorry, I call you Steve James.
That's okay. That's a big part of it. We have what we call a sustaining campaign every year that really goes out and asks people for support and to help with mainly our financial assistance side.
But you seem to be getting a tremendous amount of support from the people that have been associated.
Absolutely.
Members of the.
And
they're not going to abandon you by any means.
No, and I think that one of the biggest things that surprised me being involved and engaged in the process is that our staff, you know, gives a lot of money back. You know, we may not be the best paying organization in the world, but they believe in the process. They believe in what they're doing so much that they give a lot back. People give, you know, anybody that becomes engaged in what's going on. I think you see in the bowling family is the same way. It's not just about the commitment that they've given to the Northeast Y or to the Y in general. They're there. They're involved. They're part of the community, and you'll see them in the facility, and you'll see their kids, you know, in engaging other kids. It's amazing.
And that contribution side, really, it begins with those folks that are familiar, that know, that have that experience and could say, I did this at the Y, I learned this at the Y, my children at the Y. They have a connection that they see that value, and they see how those dollars or those contributed dollars are used to the benefit of the larger community.
See, and that's the beauty of it all, is that it's you know, that whole mindset, it's self-perpetuating because it's so important. You know, it's when we said earlier, it's kind of a comforting thing for a lot of folks because they have such a fond relationship dating back. You know, for a lot of us, you know, when I was a young kid back in San Antonio, they used to bus us from my West Side neighborhood downtown to the Y, and I remember very vividly, you know, what that was like, walking in there and seeing the gym and the facilities there. And
see, but we're not limited by the facilities. We have a very strong component of outreach. It's much easier to take that Y program to the kids in their neighborhood, and whether it's the basketball program that we do in conjunction with EPISD or Gadsden ISD that reaches kids, I mean, everywhere from Segundo Barrio to Barreno, New Mexico. You know, it's taking those things out into the community because every child should learn how to swim. Every child should have that positive experience in youth sports. Every child should be able to go to day camp at some point in their life.
I think that since I was a child, they've built some facilities in my old neighborhood, I think, so that, you know, keeping with the model that you're describing, so you're taking it out to the community itself. You know, you have volunteers also, correct, that participate in running the. How does someone become a volunteer for the Y, and what is it that they can do? What kinds of jobs?
Number one, first, you know, we do have a website. We've been around a long time.
We haven't mentioned the website.
Yeah, the website's important because, you know, we've worked hard on it, and they can always
Internet's a beautiful thing. You know,
absolutely contact us that way. But they can come into a local branch. They can call, you know, the metro offices. They can call any of the three major branches: the La Jolla, the North, the Bowling, or the West Side, and get that opportunity. And we have a tremendous cadre of people. Anywhere from coaches to gymnastics instructors. There's a lot of just different things that are going on.
That's one thing that I can tell you from my personal experience. I work for a nonprofit agency called Project Bravo. We never have trouble getting volunteers for any of the projects that we're involved with, and it must be the same, even doubly true for you guys as well out there. You know, people
because there's opportunities on many levels. That, you know, a person come in and volunteer to be a program leader, all the way on up to being a policy-making volunteer. And so there's the opportunities are there for folks that, I mean, we have high school swimmers come in and help out with Splash and volunteer to help out with water safety with young kids, all the way up to folks like James that to serve on the Metro board.
Right. We've talked about the the history, and we've talked about the things that are going on right now in the Y. Obviously, it's still a growing entity.
Sure.
It's going to continue to grow.
God
So
willing.
that leads me to my next question. What are we looking at in terms of the future? I know, and I pray that the Y is going to be around forever. But what's on the horizon for an organization like the Y here in El Paso?
Well, the big thing is, as we look at expanding our program footprint and getting out and reaching folks in other communities, we get asked a lot, when are you going to build a Y here? It starts with that program side. It starts with being engaged with the people so that they understand what the Y is and want the Y there. If you build it, they will come rarely works out.
Do they communicate to you all about what it is that they want?
Oh, absolutely.
You're listening to them and keeping your ear open constantly.
And we try and remain opportunistic. When the opportunity came up for us to operate the county pools, the El Paso County pools.
That's right.
So we have a pool in Fabens and a Escalante downtown, and then the pool up in Canutillo. And we looked at that not just as oh look, we're providing lifeguards for the county, but how are we reaching out to folks in those communities? This summer we're going to have a day camp in Fabens. We're looking at even having after-school childcare in Fabens. What a great way to get into the community.
Yeah.
It started out with just swimming pool and swimming lessons.
Right.
And so looking for those different ways of getting into, working with other organizations, collaborating with school districts, with other nonprofits in order to reach the people. And that usually opens the door for more stuff. Well, you did this. Can you do this too? Absolutely.
You get so good at doing certain things that people's expectations start to,
Yeah, that's where I come in and have to rein him back a little bit. He likes to remind me that it's the YMCA of the Rio Grande Valley, and that to me could go all the way down to your part
that's
of the
true.
country.
That's true. Absolutely.
And we have great opportunities, and there's a lot of people asking for different programs, and we're trying to.
Are you confident that you'll be able to fulfill that need over the long term as as things come along?
Well,
I'm talking about from the financial standpoint.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm a little more conservative in the nature. Kevin wants to go out and do it all, and I'm confident that the
it's good that you balance yourselves off. fairly well,
but we have to be strategic in the way that we build capacity. It's one thing. In 2008, the YMCA was operating 3 bodies of water. This summer, we're operating 9 bodies of water. We do that by building our capacity. By looking at the folks that we already have, looking at the folks that we can bring in, and increasing that expertise so that we can grow, and so that we're growing smart. I don't want to get involved in something. James and I share this. We're not going to get involved in something that we stand a chance at failing at.
Right.
We're going to grow, but we're going to grow in a way that is responsible.
So we don't necessarily need to make, and we don't necessarily need to make this 100% economically solvent issue.
Because you're a nonprofit organization.
Absolutely, and our mission is important. Being the swimming lessons and so forth that Kevin talks about, which we do a lot of, is not a quote money making. Doesn't add a lot to the bottom line and support other programs, but it does. Hopefully, keep
you
kids
can get
alive.
creative. You can come up with all other kinds of things that are that are consistent with the values of the organization that perhaps people might be requesting and wanting to have in their community.
Oh, sure.
Well, what other types of programs do you think might be coming? Do you have programs that are related to the health issue?
Well, the swimming is always going to be a big thing for us.
Right.
Partly because we have a lot of aquatics geeks on staff now. That's just we do it well. But you teach a child to swim, you've opened up a lifetime of activity. A child that doesn't know how to swim isn't going to go to that swimming birthday party when they're 10 years old. That child that doesn't know how to swim isn't going to go boating or learn how to canoe or visit nature in that way. So we want every child to learn how to swim because it's a matter of safety and it's a matter of lifetime activity. So that's going to be an area that we're going to continue to grow. Also kind of getting back to some of those basic core social programs. Youth in Government is reemerging as a large program. That's a Youth in Government's a program been going on in the state of Texas, and the YMCA of El Paso has been involved since the late 1940s.
Is that a way to inspire civics?
That's
civic
right.
Participation?
It's getting kids as early as middle school engaged in the process to understand how legislation, the executive, the judicial, and now even the media component of politics
Boy,
works together.
in this day and age, that's something that is desperately needed.
Well, but these kids,
Yeah.
they could teach us because
Yeah.
we send a group from the school. on the
Desert
valley,
View Middle School had 24 kids go this last year to the Youth and Government Conference in Austin.
and they came back.
I think
Incredible.
in terms of the kinds of ethics that are being taught in these kinds of instruction, and how they would apply and relate to government is something that is so much needed in our society, in our community. That's excellent. I hadn't heard that before. I think much success on that one, for sure.
Well, and those child serving programs like Youth and Government, like after school child care, those are and day camp. Those are programs that are reemerging as being really part of our core because.
But they're standard. They've been a standard for so long.
They've been a standard for so long, but they've been kind of there's a period of time where YMCA's went, oh, we got a gym. Let's leave it at that. No, we're a youth development organization. This is our core.
That's it. That's you put your finger right on it. And, the number of people who have benefited so much from these programs over the years is just, well, you could talk about it on into the night here. Well, wonderful. It's great to have both of you here. I think we're getting kind of close to the end of our program here. Now, but one more question I didn't ask you earlier. How many facilities do we have in El Paso, and how can people get involved?
I think I'll take a stab at it then and let Kevin. But that could be a really, we could say 3 major ones, but we could also say probably 40 because of the outreach program. We're running programs all the way from Gadsden, basically the New Mexico border,
So it's
all the way to
Yeah, it's
Tornillo.
quite active still.
At schools, we're getting more and more engaged with EPISD and some of the after-school programs. We have day camps. We have,
So
facilities.
you can't measure this by just the
We
number
have
of facilities, it's by the number
We
of
have 3 main
activities.
branches,
Yeah.
but then you start looking at where I coach basketball, so where the basketball plays. We play at the JCC, we play at a number of different facilities and have some ancillary activities that go
see.
along with it. But there are 3 main branches, if you will.
Three full facilities that you could say that's a YMCA.
Excellent. Now, you do have a website too. Can you talk about very quickly about the website?
Sure. The website is elpasoymca.org.
Okay, and you can
Very
find
simple.
all the information you need about everything.
We've got information about everything from becoming a member of the YMCA to specific programs to some of those ancillary social responsibility programs. that we have.
Including information about your board of directors. I'm sure you
We
have
would
many.
love more and more engagement.
Yeah,
And
you've got some people on your board of directors that are very key members of our community, very upstanding, good folks. I know some of them personally. So.
Oh, and you can look.
Yeah.
You can look through the 125 years of the Y, and 126.
Right.
That and it's virtually a who's who of people that have gotten engaged and been involved, and we're appreciative of everything, and we want the feedback too.
Yeah. Well, thanks a lot for
right.
both
Thank
of you
you.
being
Thank you
here
very
with
much.
us, and it's been a joy talking to the both of you, talking about something that is very important, very vital to our community. And for you, those of you at home, we thank you for tuning in, and we will see you the next time on our next edition of Healthy Generation.